Greetings, and welcome to another lesson from the members of Ashtar Command on Haiti Space, channeled by Mark Crocker, with this one taking place in 1997. My name is Russ Hatfield, and behind my shoulder is Karra, my twin soul and higher dimensional member of Ashtar Command stationed on the base. In this lesson, Karra teaches us about self-rejuvenation and the key steps in making yourself stay as young as possible. She combines the three principles of staying mentally active, physically active, and maintaining a healthy diet. You can follow our online transcript at the link below or at our homepage, centerforascension.org. And if you wish, please subscribe at the end of this video to be alerted to future lessons from the Center for Ascension. So now, we present Karra and Living Young, Staying Young.
Okay, let us look at something that has interested me for a little while. Something that I have thought about. Something that your race is very fascinated with. How to rejuvenate the body. How to keep yourself looking younger. Well, rejuvenating the body with your current medical technology is impossible. Certainly plastic surgery can help to maintain you looking young, but to extend your life is almost impossible at this time. So, how do you live longer without rejuvenation technology and capabilities? Well, it's very simple. Very simple. One is eating healthy. Two is being active. Three, and something that until recently I did not fully appreciate, is learning not just once in a while, but something new every day. This piece of information was given to me by a roundabout source, and I will take credit where credit is due. Tia handed me a report of a comment made by Mark. Mark apparently was in a meeting and was asked what was his goal in life. And his comment was to learn one thing new every day. To learn one new thing every day. Now, how does learning one thing new every day keep you young? Well, it depends on what that new thing is. Now, certainly Mark has his health problems, but his mental faculties are as sharp as they've ever been. Due to the fact that by learning one thing new every day stimulates certain chemicals within the mind, which in turn keeps the mind sharp. Another way to put it is, the mind does what, Russ?
It grows younger.
Not quite. How do you keep muscle in good shape?
Exercise.
Correct. So, you do mental calisthenics, which keeps the mind looking young. Now, getting back to the muscles. When the muscles are worked out every day, what happens?
It stays strong.
And in staying strong,
They grow.
and in growing.
They maintain their youthful health.
Okay. Now, something that you may not have noticed this year is, let's take the early part of the year. In fact, from January to March. From January to March this year, you had 4 colds. Let us take from October to now. How many colds have you had?
9. 1 maybe.
And that wasn't very serious.
No.
Why? Okay, let's look at it this way. This time last year, you had a sore throat, you'd been to the doctor, you were taking antibiotics.
I was.
Yes, you had a cold this time last year.
Oh, okay. You know me better than I do. Yeah, obviously.
You were drinking vast quantities of orange juice as well.
Yeah.
Now, looking at now, you have only had maybe a cold.
Right.
You haven't taken any antibiotics.
No.
You're feeling pretty fit and healthy.
I picked a lot more issues there at that one point where I had that sore throat.
Mm-hmm. Okay, why?
Well, I didn't want to bring on anything.
No. Why have you, compared to last year, been healthy?
Kind of attributed to those vitamins I've taken now.
You've only been taking those for, 2 weeks now?
More or less.
Mm-hmm. It's still early to say what effect they're having. 3 months down the road, you may be able to say something.
Well, I'm doing any exercise really to speak of. In fact, if anything, I've been a lazy slob.
You have not done any fencing recently?
Yeah, this summer, right?
Mm-hmm. A lot this summer, correct?
Yeah.
You have not been keeping your mind active?
Oh, very active.
Mm-hmm. Have you not been eating well?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, so what does this tell us?
Well, my regimen's been better.
Correct. You are eating healthier. You are exercising. You are keeping your mind exercising.
So this would explain that strange purchase I made from a television show,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't it?
Okay, now where were we? Oh, yes.
Exercise, mental discipline,
Uh-huh.
and a good diet.
Correct. So, now let us look at the worst offender for abusing his health. Okay. Has he suffered any illness other than his intestinal discomfiture?
Oh, he hasn't been off work or anything.
Mm-hmm. Has he had any colds?
Yeah, a little bit, but
Minor ones.
nothing he's capable from work.
Last year, if my memory serves me correct, they sent him home early on a Friday and a Monday because he was ill.
Pretty bad last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fancy. Well, you remember the summer before that, all we were doing was racing boats.
Correct. Sitting down, racing boats.
Very sedentary exercise, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. But it was good for the mind. It was good for relaxing.
True. I think fencing relaxes more than the boat racing does, though.
Yes, I think it does too. But let us look at last year and this year. The big difference is in the increase in activity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with eating healthy, as he has been forced to do, although of late he seems to be neglecting it a little bit, but that is understandable due to the fact that he is working hard.
Right.
Eating healthy, learning new skills, computer skills, work skills, management skills, learning to adjust his management techniques, teaching, which is exercising the mind because he has to learn how to teach. Exercise itself, intense exercise, even though it is maybe 2 or 3 times a week, is certainly very useful and beneficial. So, what is happening to your bodies? They're taking on the tone and fitness of being healthy, and in doing so with the muscles tightening up and the skin tightening up. The wrinkles that were starting to appear here and there are disappearing. When wrinkles disappear, what happens? Skin looks younger. Can't do anything about his loss of hair.
How come wrinkles?
Because the skin becomes tighter.
Why?
Because the muscles are growing.
Oh.
Because the exercise is replacing the cells.
Oh.
Because the exercise is strengthening the cells. And in doing so, strengthens the immune system.
Understandable.
So you see, what is actually happening to the bodies?
They're staying healthy.
Mm-hmm. And they're self-rejuvenating a little bit. It's not going to extend the life expectancy much, but the bodies are rejuvenating themselves. The bodies are becoming strong.
Well, a lot of the growing of old in the elderly is the problems that come around with the lack of exercise, lack of mental and diet that lead to more problems earlier in some people than later than others.
Correct.
So this keeps the bodies, while the life expectancy might be the same, there won't be as many problems later on.
Correct. Now let us take some older people. Let us take somebody that Mark's very fond of and looks up to. His grandfather. 86 years old. I think that's pretty respectable for a third-dimensional male, correct?
Oh yeah, very respectable.
Mm-hmm. Until recently, from what Tia has said, his grandfather was very mentally active, ate reasonably healthy, and exercised regularly.
He stopped.
Well, due to ill health.
Oh.
So, let us take this individual and his exercise regimen. Walking 5 miles a day, working, lugging heavy objects around, keeping his muscles in tow. Certainly, it appears to be that he suffered greatly in his youth in a motorcycle accident, but yet that did not stop him from maintaining a healthy, vigorous life. Let us look at some other factors. Well, much like his grandson, he did smoke. His grandson still smokes. Probably smoked heavier than his grandson. So, does cigarettes increase the cancer rate? Yes, it does. Without a shadow of a doubt, it is very harmful and very negative. But there are some beneficial factors which we covered last week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Or last channeling session. But certain people, it does not appear to affect as much. Due to the fact, or any dangerous activity cannot be said to be totally beneficial, as long as certain things are followed. Eating healthy, exercise, and mentally active. These 3 things should be the foundation for longevity. You can drink in moderation. You can smoke in moderation. You can eat fats in moderation as long as you follow the 3 main areas: mental activity, physical activity, and eating healthy most of the time. After all, I will even admit, I do enjoy foods that are very bad for me from time to time. High-rich foods I absolutely love. Much like that salmon pate I made the other day. Very bad for you. Okay, I admit I did not make it totally myself. Okay, hon. You have any questions?
Indeed. I've learned a lot about what causes the cancer, at least on 3rd dimension. I don't know if it holds true on 6th dimension. And the fact that a lack of oxygenation in the cells leads to a lower ability to fight off the cancer, and the free radicals, which will attach to cells that are lacking electrons, or molecules lacking electrons.
That's correct.
Now, is the work that you were discussing with the diet, the exercise, the mental strength help to increase those cancer-causing or cancer-fighting elements?
Yes. Yes. Due to the fact and oxidation in the blood, cell capacity to carry oxygen. That's an incredibly good aspects of that we could go into. There's a lot of common misconceptions. We will hold that one for a later discussion.
Okay.
And that will be an interesting discussion because there are quite a few common misconceptions that you have. Very common misconceptions and very common throughout your population. But, yes, by making the cells healthy, by being active, eating well, and keeping mentally active, certainly increases the capability to fight off cell degradation and weakness, which opens up to free radicals.
The free radicals are brought upon by cigarette smoking, maybe?
There are lots of different factors.
Right.
Lots of different factors. Such as being exposed to radioactive materials. Such as smoking harmful chemicals. Such as living where there is a high concentration of certain chemicals. There are many, many different causes for cancer. Genetic problems. Inbreeding, outbreeding, introducing of incompatible genes. All sorts of various problems. All sorts of possible potentials for cancer.
Okay. That helps a lot.
Certainly. Next question.
In treating these particular items, things that are brought up, side effects of this, depression, things like that, where chemicals are used currently to fight those things. What can be used as a fighting method for a more psychic level?
Certainly the three that I have stated also help. For example, you and Mark have normal fluctuations in moods. However, there are times where depression is part of the cycle. Have you been depressed recently since you have become more active?
Not at all.
No, except for that minor little bump.
Nothing major.
Nothing major. Okay, what does that tell you?
It tells me that, well, a lot of it is, the more exercise, but also the mental challenges facing me now are greater and more satisfying.
Correct. So, mental activity, physical activity, and eating healthy does, let's go through them.
Rejuvenate.
It rejuvenates the body. It keeps your life expectancy increased. It keeps you emotionally controlled.
Fights disease.
Fights disease.
And helps maintain a positive state of mind for dealing with problems.
Correct. So, these mental activities, these physical activities, these eating activities are what?
Third-dimensional rejuvenation techniques.
Correct. They're not the ultimate rejuvenation techniques, but they will help to keep your body looking younger. In essence, it is not reversing, but stopping or slowing down the acceleration of degradation of the cells. So you could say that yes, it is rejuvenation because the muscles tighten up and you do look younger. But it is not true rejuvenation.
Right.
If we label the topic rejuvenation, it would not be correct.
Correct.
What we could label it as is staying younger, looking younger.